I'm joined by Hamoud Salhi, an associate dean at California State University with a background in researching extremism and political violence. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
First, I'd like to get your reaction to Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas's move to freeze contacts with Israel until metal detectors are removed from the Al-Aqsa Mosque. What will that do?
Exactly. I think President Mahmoud Abbas is in a very difficult situation. The Israelis' policies have not helped him be seen as someone who is loyal or at least striving to make life better for the Palestinians. At the same time, cutting contacts with the Israeli has its own problems. As we know, over 90% of Palestinian revenues rely heavily, including the salaries of Mahmoud Abbas' staff, rely on Israelis, in Israel. The Palestinian economy is so tied up to the Israelis that when you make this kind of statement, it could fire back, but he has no choice but to make that decision. In fact, President Mahmoud Abbas is in a worse situation than Benjamin Netanyahu under this scenario.
So this all comes down to, on the surface, metal detectors. Each side has their own theory on this. In your opinion, are these metal detectors at Al-Aqsa Mosque a security issue or a political issue?
I think it's both. I think what we've seen, two things are happening which are really sort of driving this whole crisis or the whole Palestinian-Israeli conflict. On the one hand, Israel could not be in a better position today than it was maybe 5 or 10 years ago. Today, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is not the core issue in any Middle East crisis. It's Syria, it's Iraq. So that is a big thing. The second thing that is happening is that you have really some kind of rapprochement with what wants to be unbelievable to happen. Now we're talking about contact between the Saudi leaders and the Israelis. We're talking about contact between the United Arab Emirates. Even the biggest supporter of Jerusalem apparently has allegedly met with the Israelis. And then you have, this strong relationship with Oman. So all this relationship, all this economic or these ties that are going on this hand, you would think that Israel will use this to better serve its national interest. That is one side, but what is driving the whole mess or the whole is the impact that the conservatives, the ultra-Orthodox have on Israeli politics. And the fact that Benjamin Netanyahu rely solely on them makes it all that difficult. So today, the expansion of settlements, this kind of metal detector is not in the best interest of the Israelis. And finally, there is a point that one should consider. The Israelis seems to be today very confident in this circuitry system, the technology to detect threats, the wall to preempt incursions from Hamas. They feel pretty good about themselves, and this kind of measure, albeit very, very dangerous, they seem not to believe that they can overcome it. But this is a serious one. It will have a serious location. So the driving force is political, and particularly the groups, the ultra-Orthodox in Israel that are driving it more than any other group.